Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we are undertaking a total life audit. We're going to be looking at a text that is thousands of years old, chapter 17 of the Bhagavad Gita, which is also known as Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. But honestly, we are not going to treat this as some dry piece of theology. Instead, we're using it as a timeless, highly practical framework. We're going to evaluate your lifestyle, figure out exactly why you make the choices you make, and quite frankly, try to find a cure for modern burnout.
So here is the agenda for our life audit today. We'll be covering 1. The true meaning of faith. 2. The 3 Gunas explained. 3. Fueling body and mind. 4. The quality of our discipline. 5. The intention behind giving. And finally, number 6, Om Tat Sat and purifying action.
All right, let's jump right into section 1, the true meaning of faith.
To really get started here, we have to strip away a lot of our modern misconceptions. You know, when we hear the word Shraddha, or faith, we almost always think of a mechanical religious belief, right? Like checking a box on a census form. But the Gita defines it as a deeply active psychological force. It is this affirmative inner conviction that acts as your internal compass. It literally conditions every single desire you have, every thought that crosses your mind, and every action you take. It's the driving force that urges us toward our own personal idea of perfection.
And as Krishna tells Arjuna in this incredibly profound quote, you don't just have faith, you are your faith. You're made of it. Your external lifestyle, the way you eat, the way you work, how you speak, and how you treat other people, that is all simply a physical reflection of this deep internal conviction. So the takeaway here is that if you actually want to change your life, you have to audit this innate substance of your being.
Moving on to section 2, the 3 Gunas explained.
So how do we actually go about auditing this faith? Well, every single action you take in your daily life is driven by one of 3 gunas, or psychological temperaments. If you're operating in Sattva, your actions are driven by purity, clarity, and goodness. You're motivated by knowledge and duty, and that leads to genuine, lasting joy. Now, if you're operating in Rajas, you are driven by passion, intense activity, and ambition. You desperately want a reward, which almost always leads to this exhausting roller coaster of mixed happiness and distress. I mean, we see this constantly in our modern hustle culture, right? And finally, if you're operating in Tamas, your actions are rooted in ignorance, lethargy, or delusion, which basically just pulls you down into darkness and suffering.
But before we can even begin to look at our more complex actions, we really need to hold a mirror up to our most basic, fundamental daily habit. Ask yourself, what kind of energy are you consuming? What actually fuels your body and your mind?
Which brings us to section 3, fueling body and mind, or ahara. The concept of ahara, which translates to food, actually encompasses absolutely everything we take in through our physical and mental senses. The idea is that you literally become what you consume. So, a Sattvic diet, foods that are juicy, nourishing, and agreeable, promotes long-term vitality and mental cheerfulness. But then look at the Rajasic diet. It's totally characterized by extremes, excessively bitter, sour, salty, or spicy. Think about our modern equivalents here. Hyper-processed junk foods and massive energy drinks that give you a huge spike, but ultimately cause pain, grief, and physical distress. And Tamasic food? That's just stale, lifeless, and impure, leaving you feeling entirely dull and lethargic. So you have to ask yourself, is the fuel you consume every single day setting you up for clarity or for a massive crash?
Okay, so moving beyond just what we consume, we must audit our habit building. We are all out here trying to build good habits, but we really have to ask, what is truly driving our self-discipline?
This is section 4, the quality of our discipline, or tapas.
Austerity, or tapas, is so often misunderstood as extreme physical torture, like starving yourself or sitting in the freezing cold. But these ancient mental disciplines, which were written thousands of years ago, mind you, are exactly what we look for in elite modern leadership today. True mental tapas isn't about punishment at all. It's about cultivating serenity. It's about maintaining a cheerful disposition, gentleness, and crucially, silence, quieting that endless internal chatter we all have. It really is the ultimate form of self-control and emotional intelligence.
Because ultimately, why you do something matters infinitely more than what you do. The external appearance of building a habit means absolutely nothing if your internal intention is wrong. Look, if you meditate or go to the gym just to show off on social media to get respect and honor, that's Rajasic tapas. It is unstable and it's totally fleeting. If you discipline yourself out of foolish stubbornness or maybe to spite someone else, it's Tamasic and it's just painful. True Sattvic discipline is done with pure faith, You're desiring no applause, and you're doing it solely to purify yourself.
And this naturally brings us to a highly confronting question about our philanthropy and our generosity. When you give, are you actually doing it to empower someone else, or is it a secret transaction to boost your own ego?
Section 5. The intention behind giving, or Dana.
The 3 gunas completely dictate the true value of our generosity. A genuine Sattvic gift absolutely must come from a pure heart with 0 strings attached. It's given as a duty, at the right time, to a worthy recipient, and you expect literally nothing in return. On the flip side, if you give reluctantly, or maybe because you want a tax write-off or because you expect a favor later on, the act devolves into a Rajasic transaction. And if you give to unworthy causes or toss a coin at someone with contempt or an insult, it's Tamasic. The intention completely changes the very fabric of the act.
Finally, we reach Section 6, Om Tat Sat, and purifying action.
Look, realistically, our everyday actions are rarely perfect. We are human. Our diet slip, our discipline wavers, our charity gets mixed up with our ego. But by mentally dedicating our actions through these 3 sequential steps, we take a mystical concept and turn it into a deeply practical formula. First, Om. You acknowledge a higher reality, something much bigger than yourself. Second, Tat. You act with selfless detachment, recognizing that the universe is acting through you, which effectively removes your ego from the entire equation. And third, Sat. You firmly plant your action in goodness, reality, and steadfastness. When you apply this formula to your daily work, your diet, and your discipline, it completely liberates you from the anxiety of the outcome.
But this also brings us to a stark warning from the text. The exact opposite of Sat is ASAT. Going through the motions of a performative life, doing all the right things but without any genuine inward conviction, it yields absolutely 0 spiritual or practical growth. It is totally barren. It doesn't help you right now, and it certainly won't help you later. Faith is the engine. Without it, the car simply does not move.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to invite you to genuinely audit your own life. Take a hard look at your diet, your habits, your generosity, and your daily work. Are they Sattvic, Rajasic, or Tamasic? Try to align your daily choices with wisdom, compassion, and selfless action. And I want to leave you with this one profound question to think about. What do your daily actions truly reveal about the quality of your inner faith? Because remember, you don't just have faith, you are your faith.